The recycled air of Gaia 2 carried a faint metallic tang as Adam Carter strode through the station's winding corridors. The soft click of his boots echoed in the stillness of the diplomatic wing, a place where peace and power mingled uneasily. The bioluminescent strips that lined the walls bathed everything in a serene blue glow, the shadows they cast intricate and dreamlike. He adjusted the stunner at his hip and sighed, his voice breaking the monotony. Another thrilling night in paradise, he muttered dryly. Through the vast observation windows that lined the corridor, the gaseous beauty of Naria swirled in vibrant hues of amber and violet. Massive cargo ships lumbered by like silent leviathans of steel, their lights cutting through the void. The sight had once held wonder for Adam, but after months on Gaia 2, even the extraordinary could feel mundane. A sharp chime from his wrist communicator shattered his thoughts. "Carter," came the clipped voice of command. "We have a situation in Diplomatic Suite 17, Priority 1. Adam barely stifled a groan. Priority 1 usually amounted to something trivial, a lost access card perhaps, or an overeager diplomat spooked by a cleaning drone. "Understood," he replied. "What's the nature of the issue?" "Unclear. The diplomat requested immediate security. Keep it discreet." "When isn't it?" Adam muttered under his breath, turning toward the central lift. The lift whisked him to the station's most opulent level. Here, the air felt different, softer, richer, touched with delicate perfumes and the faint aroma of living earth plants thriving in curated terrariums. The walls gleamed with real wood paneling, a luxury that screamed wealth and influence. Suite 17's door slid open as Adam approached, preempting his knock. A woman stood in the entryway, her presence commanding yet oddly inviting. She was radiant. Her fitted dress hugged her figure in all the right ways, and her dark hair spilled over her shoulders in soft, polished waves. Her green eyes glimmered faintly, as though illuminated from within, adding an ethereal quality to her already striking features. "Officer Carter," she greeted him, her voice smooth yet edged with authority. "Thank you for coming so quickly." Adam straightened instinctively. "Ma'am," he replied, his tone professional. "What seems to be the issue?" She cast a quick glance down the corridor before stepping aside and gesturing him in. "This matter is best discussed in private." The room beyond was a palace in miniature. Vast windows framed Naria's mesmerizing clouds, while the walls were adorned with artworks that spoke of ancient craftsmanship and modern wealth. Everything about the space seemed designed to awe and disarm. Morel, for that was how she introduced herself, moved with an elegance that made Adam feel uncomfortably out of place in his standard issue uniform. "Please," she said, motioning toward a plush couch. "Sit." "I'd prefer to stand," Adam replied, keeping his tone neutral. "Very well." She settled into a nearby chair, her movements a symphony of grace. Yet despite her composure, Adam noticed tension in the set of her shoulders, a vulnerability she tried to mask. "What's the problem?" he asked, his brow furrowing. She hesitated, her glowing eyes meeting his with a mix of resolve and apprehension. "This is a delicate matter," she began, choosing her words carefully. "One that requires a certain kind of understanding." Adam's hand instinctively drifted toward his stunner, though he kept it at his side. "Go on." "My species," Morel said, rising to her feet and smoothing the fabric of her dress, "has certain physiological needs. Periodic relief, you might say." "Relief?" Adam repeated, skepticism coloring his tone. "Yes, normally I would rely on specialized assistance, but diplomatic restrictions have left me without the means to address the issue. And now—" She paused, her confidence wavering just enough for Adam to catch it. "Now I must ask for your help." Adam blinked, trying to process her words. "Help how, exactly?" Morel took a step closer, her gaze steady despite the faint blush that colored her cheeks. "Forgive my bluntness, Officer Carter, but I require assistance with a process unique to my biology. I need someone to help extract what my body produces." It took Adam a moment to comprehend her meaning. When he did, his jaw tightened. "You're asking me to milk you?" "Yes," she said quickly, her voice soft but insistent. "I know how strange this must sound to a human, but it's harmless to you and necessary for me. If I delay much longer, it could affect not only my health but the success of these negotiations." Adam's first instinct was to refuse, but there was something in her tone, in the way she held herself, that gave him pause. This wasn't a joke or a ploy. She was genuinely in need. And if I say no, he asked, his voice cautious. Then I suffer, she said simply, though the weight of her words was palpable. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. No hidden side effects? None, she promised, her lips curving into a faint, grateful smile. Perhaps even enjoyment, for both of us. Adam shook his head, exhaling a sharp breath. You're not making this any less weird, you know. I know, she said, her tone laced with humor despite the tension. But you're the only one who can help me. Fine, he said at last. But this stays strictly between us. Of course, Morel said, relief washing over her features. She stepped closer, her presence almost magnetic. Thank you, Officer Carter, truly. As she led him further into the suite, Adam couldn't help but think how surreal his life had become. Somewhere in another corner of the galaxy, people were living ordinary lives. But here he was, standing in the gilded chamber of an alien diplomat, preparing to assist in a way he never could have imagined. And as strange as it all seemed, part of him didn't mind.